Ramadan Kareem everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ramadan Spotlights, where we'll be showing you how to add a special touch to your Ramadan experience with some of Bahrain's ancient traditions during the month of Ramadan.
The thobe is a full-length garment commonly worn by men throughout the Arabian and Gulf region. It is normally made out of cotton, but heavier materials such as sheep's wool can also be used, especially in the colder climates. The most common color is pure white, but darker colors are sometimes worn during the cooler months. The style of the thobe varies slightly from region to region. The long sleeves and the collar can be stiffened to give a more formal appearance. White thobe is most often worn with a white skull cap and head covering called a shamagh, which is an essential dress when visiting government buildings, attending formal gatherings, weddings, funerals, dinners, or the weekly Friday Jum'ah worship service at one's local mosque. The customary wearing of shamagh began with the Bedouin tribes of old. Designs and colors have varied throughout the centuries. A bisht is a traditional Arabian long cloak men wear over their thobes. This cloak is usually made out of wool and ranges in colors from white, beige, and cream to the darker shades of brown, gray, and black. Originally, the bisht was worn in winter by Bedouins. Now it's only worn for special occasions like weddings, festivals, and Eid. The bisht has been the choice of formal wear for politicians, religious scholars, and high-ranking individuals in the Arabian Gulf countries. This traditional flowing cloak is meant to distinguish those who wear it. People say no cloth can provide the distinction of a hand-tailored bisht. This is why the art of bisht tailoring is a skill handed down from generation to another. There are 3 types of embroideries used in making the bisht: gold stitch, silver stitch, and silk stitch. The thread is called zeri, and gold and silver are very common. Black bishts with gold stitching is the most popular, after cream and whites. In the early 90s, new colors were introduced to the bisht market. Blue, gray, and maroon are mostly worn by the younger generation. The older generation stick to the traditional black, brown, and cream. There are 3 main bisht designs: the derbiya, mkessar, and the tarkib. Derbiya is handmade with genuine zeri embroidery and traditional patterns, and the style is square and loose. Mkessar has silk embroidery along the edge of the fabric. Until the invention of the sewing machine, the original bisht was hand-sewn. Traditionally, the bisht has 2 sleeves, but it can be worn with only one arm through the sleeve and the other wrapped around loosely and tucked into the side. Al-Bakhneg is a robe used by young girls as a headscarf before reaching the age of marriage. It is made out of black chiffon, silk fabric, and usually embroidered with gold and silver threads. Al-Bakhneg is worn on the girl's head, which is decorated with embroidery that comes around the face and tightens up around the chin. It is short from the front, not exceeding the waist, and taller than the rear, where it can reach the legs, or just shorter enough so it does not hinder the movement of the girl while playing with her friends and companions. The purpose of the bakhneg was to teach younger girls the modesty in which is acquired in the Islamic rules and traditions from a young age. The buttons used in the bukhnek are three colors: silver, yellow, and red. As for the cloth used for the bukhnek, it is called al-mlamlal, which is a black fabric that is not transparent, and it is the same used to make al-shial. The thobe nashal is said to be the queen of thobes in terms of its splendor and the density of its embroidery. No one, not even historians, know the true origin of the term thobe al-nashal. One meaning of nashal says to mean pickpocket, and thus meaning that the thobe is so beautiful it steals your heart. And a pure thobe al-nashal just might do that, with its brilliant colors and its front panel of dense gold and silver embroidery. In Bahrain, the manthur or scattered style of embroidery is more common. Less oriented at the neckline, it drops down the front a meter or less, since it uses less threads and consequently less labor. The name actually refers to small embroidery motifs that are sewn all over the rest of the dress. Paisleys, flowers, fanciful medallions, small circles, or whatever a designer or customer fancies. Whether it is a bright red or rich lapis blue, this is the elegant thobe al-nashal, the signature women's thobe style.
Called al-Msahar, they roam around different residential localities in Bahrain and other Gulf regions well before dawn, beating drums and singing songs so people got up to have suhoor. Let's take a look at this old and rich tradition that has been widely known during Ramadan.
عساك دايم اقعد يا نايم وعساك دايم ما ينسى الصايم مرة ذكر الله ما ينسى الصايم مرة ذكر الله اقعد يا نايم وعساك دايم اقعد يا نايم وعساك دايم ما ينسى الصايم مرة ذكر الله ما ينسى الصايم مرة ذكر الله اسكر يا أشر لي بنورك برز سحورك وامسك من تسمع تكبيرة الله امسك من تسمع تكبيرة الله أشر لي بنورك وبرز سحورك أشر لي بنورك وبرز سحورك وامسك من تسمع تكبيرة الله امسك من تسمع تكبيرة الله اسكر يا عبد الله اسكر يا عبد الله لا إله إلا الله اسكر يا عبد الله اسكر يا عبد الله لا إله إلا الله يا الراقد لا تحاتي لا تحاتي أنا أدري دكاتي دكاتي يا الراقد لا تحاتي لا تحاتي أنا أدري دكاتي دكاتي بتقعدك تسحر وتشكر الله بتقعدك تسحر وتشكر الله اسحور يا عباد الله اسحور يا عباد الله اسحور يا عباد الله لا إله إلا الله اسحور يا عباد الله اسحور يا عباد الله اسحور يا عباد الله لا إله إلا الله
Lately, there had been a lot of evolving changes in the Arab countries, especially in the month of Holy Ramadan. there is one special occupation that still exists in the traditional neighborhoods, which is the occupation of al-Msaharati, who is also called Abu Tbele in the Gulf countries. His role begins at the first night of Ramadan and ends at the last day of it. Al-Msaharati is someone who plays on a small drum while wandering the streets 1 or 2 hours before dawn to wake people up so they can eat for the last time before they start fasting. Today, Al-Msaharati is struggling with the technology to maintain his Ramadani character in carrying his drum, chanting and calling while he's wandering the neighborhoods to wake people up during suhoor time, so the housewives will have enough time to prepare a light meal for their families, which was usually consisting of plain rice, yogurt, or iftar leftovers. In other Arab countries, people living in neighborhoods used to give Al-Msaharati money or other food resources for the services he used to provide. Children and junior youth used to walk and chant the rhymes along with him. During the last 10 days of Ramadan, Al-Msaharati used to wander around the houses to get his zakat, which was called Al-Fitr zakat, which was usually wheat, dates, rice, or even money. Until today, Al-Msaharati is fighting all means of development to keep his beautiful Ramadani tradition, which is still used in most Arabic countries.
Believe it or not, there are different types of msahars around the world. During Ramadan, Morocco's neighborhood are run by the Nafar, a town crier who is donning the traditional attire and qandura, slippers and a hat, marks the start of dawn with his melody. Selected by the townspeople for his honesty and empathy, the Nafar walks down the street while blowing a horn to wake them up for suhoor. And ever since the days of the Ottoman Empire, those fasting during Ramadan have woken up to the sound of a drum beating early in the morning for suhoor. Despite the passage of time, more than 2,000 drummers still roam the streets of Turkey, uniting the local community during the holy month. And that's all for today, but be sure to catch us on another episode of Ramadan Spotlights tomorrow, same time. Have a blessed time and a wonderful evening. Goodbye.